it a certain way and you do it your way and then mess up, I don't want to clean it up. Because that was your fuck up, not mine.
Listen, I was feeling that Jake Paul was going to knock out Tank. This press conference made me feel a little bit more confident about Tank. I'm no cap.
He done a lot in his career, right? Not everything, but he done a lot. What people don't understand is his business is a lot.
Floyd Mayweather shares his thoughts on the upcoming Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis bout, emphasizing that Davis is choosing his own path and taking significant risks with his career. Floyd mentions that while he has offered guidance in the past, once it's ignored, it's no longer his responsibility. He also notes that the matchup benefits the sport overall, the financial stakes are high, and he's definitely planning to watch the fight.
Within my company, within my team, do it my way. Because if you mess up, I don't mind being a janitor to clean up the mess because I told you to do it a certain way. But if I tell you to do it a certain way and you do it your way and then mess up, I don't want to clean it up. Because that was your fuck up, not mine.
Boxing community is buzzing with intense debate over the upcoming fight between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. Fans and experts are split, with some questioning whether the bout should even happen. While some see it as more of a promotional stunt, others view it as an opportunity for Tank to reach new audiences outside traditional boxing circles. Amid all the chatter, various insiders have weighed in, some supporting Tank's decision, while others express concerns about the sport's future direction. And lastly, there's talk about retirement.
And number 3, the retirement.
I mean, the backlash is just what people do nowadays. That's just, you give somebody a keyboard, you give them a phone, and they able to hide their face. Yeah, they're gonna have a field day. The backlash I get, I understand. What'd you say, number 2, not fight Shakur?
Yeah, he's saying he'll never fight Shakur, that he ain't gonna do him no favors, that he ain't gonna help him make no money because Shakur broke or something like that. Something along those lines.
Yeah, I don't get all that. That's, you know what I mean? That's against the game. Like, you know what I mean? You at least owe that fight for the game. You know what I mean? You owe the rematch to Lamont for the game. But you owe Shakur for the game just because of the 2 style matchups. You know what I mean? But if he feel like he don't gotta fight him, guess what? We can't sit here and just go crazy about it, but it is kind of crazy.
Trainer Greg Hackett voiced his frustration over the backlash directed at Gervonta Davis, pointing out that fighters today often face criticism for nearly every decision they make, frequently without others fully understanding their personal circumstances. Hackett stressed that if Davis decides to take on Jake Paul, that choice deserves respect. He reminded fans that those outside the ring rarely grasp what fighters endure or what drives their career moves. For Hackett, it's important that boxing enthusiasts stop trying to dictate a fighter's opponents and instead recognize the dedication and effort required to compete at the highest level. His perspective highlights a wider frustration among trainers and athletes who feel social media has turned boxing criticism into an ongoing spectacle.
Like, he done a lot in his career, right? Not everything, but he done a lot. What people don't understand is his business is a lot. This whole experience is a lot. The shit these fighters go through is hard to explain. It's hard to explain because people, they can't see it, so they can't understand it. But it's stressful to the fighters because they coming from just getting ready to fight in the amateurs, being prepared, going out there, win, get it done, celebrate. All right, we back to the next camp. To now, marketing. You're talking about marketing. You're talking about lawyers. You're talking about all this shit that you just never imagined. You like, why do I have to deal with all of this shit? People trying to keep money coming in, so they trying to come up with bright ideas. At the same time, you got a lot of people trying to get shit from you.
A heated conversation has emerged around sports commentator Max Kellerman, whose recent remarks have sparked considerable backlash. Many within the boxing community accuse Kellerman of showing a strong bias, particularly against fighters like Gervonta Davis. During several recent broadcasts, Kellerman downplayed Davis's accomplishments, questioning whether he has truly been a legitimate champion in his weight class or achieved anything especially noteworthy. These views were met with criticism from other analysts who pointed out that Kellerman overlooked Davis's impressive record and his powerful knockout ability. Critics argue that Kellerman's perspective reflects a broader trend in boxing media, where younger talents are often undervalued while more sensational storylines are amplified. This ongoing debate underscores how personal biases and media narratives shape public perception of fighters.
Because Max Kellerman is full of nonsense. Max Kellerman claims that Gervonta Davis was never a champion, that we've never been a period of time when we looked at Gervonta Davis and said Gervonta Davis is the man in that weight class. Bunch of other ridiculousness pouring out of the pie hole of Max Kellerman. Max Kellerman is one of the most biased, bought and paid for journalists that there is in the sport of boxing, and to have him back talking again on and giving his opinion again about the sport of boxing, I promise you is not a good thing. But let's analyze what he had to say about Gervonta, that Gervonta was not ever a champion. That is ridiculous because Gervonta Davis was a champion for the IBF at 130. He was a WBA super champion at 130. He is currently the reigning WBA champion at 135. And there is no other champion in the division for the WBA at the moment. He is the only WBA champion that there is at 135. He had a portion of a secondary. The title at the time he won it at 140 was a secondary title. So if you do not want to count that, I don't know why you wouldn't, seeing as everybody else counts that belt. But okay, fine. He's a 2-division world champion. That is more than zero, Max Kellerman. Now, looking at the idea that Gervonta Davis has never been the man in that division is absolutely ridiculous because Gervonta Davis has really been the man in that division the entire time that he's there.
Former world champion Paulie Malignaggi has never held back when sharing his views, and this fight is no different. He openly criticized the idea of Gervonta Davis facing Jake Paul, expressing concerns that the sport is losing its genuine essence. Malignaggi argues that knockouts only hold significance when they occur between evenly matched fighters. He believes that staged matchups undermine boxing's credibility and give casual viewers a misleading impression of authentic competition. In a conversation with fellow analyst Chris Algieri, Malignaggi pointed out that while the event might entertain casual fans, true boxing enthusiasts can see beyond the spectacle. He worries that putting social media stars on the same platform as elite athletes blurs the lines of what boxing truly stands for. His remarks highlight an ongoing struggle within the sport between preserving tradition and embracing entertainment.
Knockouts, dude. Knockouts. People like knockouts. They don't care if you're knocking out cab drivers. Look at Jake Paul's career.
You can manufacture that though. You can manufacture that though. You can manufacture.
You can't manufacture.
To a degree, you can. To a degree. I mean, you can. Yeah, Gervonta legitimately can get knockouts. I agree. He can punch, but there's a lot of limited knockout artists though, man.
He's one of the least active punchers in the game with the highest knockout percentage of current heavyweight.
But if he was a real knockout artist,
current champions.
If he was a real knockout artist, prop him up against the best of the best. Felix Trinidad was a knockout artist. He was knocking out the best of the best. If you're a real knockout artist, prop him up against the best and show us how he smokes them. But the way we did when Felix Trinidad was doing it. You know, the way they did when Mike Tyson was doing it in his prime. Okay, say what you want about the Mike Tyson era. He knocked out everyone from 1986 to 1989. Everyone got knocked out. Everyone.
Well, by your standard, you could say that Tyson was, to a degree, manufactured.
No, because he fought everyone that was there. Everyone that was there at that time fought.
Teddy Atlas will 100% agree with this because he would say the guys that were afraid of him.
With the exception of Witherspoon. No, but they all, doesn't matter. He knocked them all out. There was nobody you could say in that era except maybe Witherspoon, who had contract issues with King at the time. Except for Witherspoon, there is nobody Tyson didn't fight in that era. He knocked them all out. You can't say like, oh, but if he would have fought that guy, I don't know. No, with Davis, there's guys right now that have been hanging around for years. Yo, dude, when you gonna fight them? The lightweight division was stacked with talent. Even at 130, it had a lot of talent when he was there. Didn't fight almost any of them. So it's not the same thing as the Tyson era. You want to say anything about Tyson era? Fine. It wasn't as high level or something. He still knocked out everyone.
In contrast to critics like Malignaggi, boxing commentator Showbiz the Adult shared a more hopeful perspective after watching the press conference between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. Initially skeptical due to Davis's size disadvantage, Showbiz admitted he was concerned Jake's size and strength might give him the upper hand. However, after seeing Davis's calm demeanor and sharpness during the event, he shifted his opinion. Showbiz noted that Davis carried himself with the professionalism of someone fully aware of the fight's significance. His confidence, focus, and ability to remain composed under pressure convinced Showbiz that Davis could adapt to and overcome the physical challenges. He also mentioned that the fight might catch some off guard. Those expecting Jake's power to dominate may be surprised. According to Showbiz, Davis's technical skill and ring intelligence could ultimately make the difference.
I beat the hell out of this kid. Listen, I was feeling that Jake Paul was going to knock out Tank. This press conference made me feel a little bit more confident about Tank. No cap. I know Tank wasn't saying much, fumbling over his words, seems bashful, but I'm looking, right? And I'm just like, bro, he doesn't feel that Jake Paul is an issue. Even though he said it, he doesn't feel like he has to whoop his ass. He doesn't feel threatened. That's the word. He doesn't feel threatened, but he does feel out of his element. I'm gonna be honest, man. It sounds like, I know everybody's looking at this press conference and it's like, number one, I know what y'all saying. It's a clown show. It's not real. Tank was paid off. It's fake. Cause Tank, when he was talking about Jake and JB, even I was like, what is he talking about?
He laughing.
What are you talking about? What does he have to do with this?
Let anything, you know what I'm talking about. Let anything. Nah, I don't have to say it right now. Don't worry about it. I don't got to say it up here. Let anything happen. And I'm going to show you and him.
So that I could understand if that's your concern. I am being extremely truthful with how I feel about this and how I'm reacting to this. My oldest son was like, I see the same thing, Dad, but you're going to get a weird response to your take.
Floyd Mayweather's name has re-entered the spotlight, but this time not in his usual role as a promoter, rather as a potential fighter. Rumors are swirling that Mayweather is eyeing a bout with Mike Tyson. Many analysts see this move as more than just a financial opportunity. They interpret it as Floyd's way of proving he still commands attention long after stepping away from the ring. As the spotlight shines on the Davis versus Paul event, Mayweather appears determined not to be overshadowed, even by his own protege. This is classic Floyd, someone who thrives on competition, media buzz, and cementing his legacy. While Gervonta and Jake prepare for their showdown, Floyd's possible fight serves as a reminder of the ongoing battle among boxing legends to maintain relevance in a fast-evolving sports world.
Celebrities and so many people that are known where you can get somebody and they can sell tickets to events. That's what kicked off the social media influence boxing that Jake Paul was birthed from. Now we're in a vacuum. And so there's going to be a lot of conversation about that and continuing to do that. In this particular video, though, I want to get into the mind of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and why Floyd Mayweather Jr. would do this. There is the money, but there's also the competitive nature of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and him not wanting to have other people think that they're a bigger star than he is. Floyd Mayweather Jr. has not been able to really launch his star outside of the sport of boxing, so he continues to do exhibitions. Now, what I think is that Floyd Mayweather Jr. is announced it at this point in time with Mike Tyson in order to take advantage of the publicity heading into the Gervonta Davis Jake Paul fight, which is, I do believe, set for November. So now that they have all the publicity and all that stuff coming out from that, he's going to piggyback on it and then try to have it in the beginning of next year sometime and actually make it a bigger event than Gervonta versus Jake Paul. And it probably will be. And the reason that I say that is because of Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson is bigger than Floyd. Let me say Mike Tyson. I think Mike Tyson's bigger than Floyd Mayweather. I still think his name is bigger than Floyd Mayweather, even though I know Floyd has made more money in the pay-per-views. And I think that had a lot to do with, again, social media area and otherwise. But the combination of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Mike Tyson and the question about what is going to happen in that fight.
Former heavyweight contender Eddie Chambers offered a word of caution for those doubting Gervonta Davis. He stressed that size alone doesn't determine the outcome of a fight, pointing to boxing history where smaller, highly skilled fighters have often outperformed larger opponents. Chambers argued that Jake Paul's physical edge doesn't compare to Davis's superior technique, speed, and ring IQ. While acknowledging Jake's progress over time, Chambers emphasized that he still lacks the experience necessary to challenge a world-class fighter like Davis. He warned that underestimating Tank would be a critical error, not just because of his knockout power, but also due to his tactical approach and discipline. Chambers' perspective brought balance to the ongoing debate, urging fans to prioritize skill over spectacle. Despite the flashy promotions and entertainment-heavy build-up, those close to the fight insist Davis is treating this matchup with utmost seriousness. Reports from his training camp describe him as focused and driven, while analysts note his calm and alert demeanor during press events. For Davis, this fight represents more than just a payday. It's about pride and opportunity. A win over Jake Paul could significantly boost his mainstream recognition and strengthen his appeal beyond traditional boxing. Audiences, some believe Davis, sees this fight as a strategic move to broaden his fan base, while critics dismiss it as nothing more than a spectacle. However, Tank appears determined to show that he can successfully combine commercial appeal with legitimate competition. His preparation reflects a fighter intent on shaping the story rather than being overshadowed by it.
And you can tell, you can just look at him and tell, like, no, this dude he's going to get this money for sure because there's so much money out there to be had. But Jake Paul better be not playing around, man. Not get cute, not play any games. Don't hit him in the back of the head. Don't rabbit punch him. Don't do any of that stuff, man, because Mike Tyson, first of all, a lot of people think Mike Tyson was pulling punches on Jake Paul, and a lot of people think that Anderson Silva was pulling punches on him too. You're not going to have a little Gervonta out there pulling punches on you, man, if you're out there playing games. So, I don't like the fight at all. However, as far as it being an entertaining situation, I almost guarantee you that fight itself is going to be entertaining. That it's going to be something that you look at and you're going to say, man, everybody's going to watch it. Everybody's going to want to know what happens in it. But at the same time, it's kind of like what people think, when you see a car crash, like you're driving down the road and all of a sudden the traffic gets heavy and you're like, man, I'm going to be in traffic for a long time. And then you drive forward a little bit and then you see, oh man, this is some accident on the other side of the road and everybody just slowing down to watch. That's the type of entertainment that you can expect from this fight between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. There's going to be a lot of people watching it, but I gotta say, man, you really can't blame the guy on what he's doing. And there's a lot of criticism flying on Gervonta Davis. It's not Gervonta Davis's fault that boxing took this turn. This turn of these exhibition fights and people not caring about the belts and all of that stuff came with Floyd Mayweather Jr., man.
Former world champion Timothy Bradley has also shared his perspective, leaning toward confidence in Gervonta Davis. Bradley described the fight as a straightforward payday for Tank, highlighting that Davis's experience and skill make Jake Paul's challenge seem relatively minor. He pointed out that Davis has gone up against and defeated top-tier opponents, while Jake has only faced a few professional fighters. While acknowledging Jake's commitment, Bradley believes the experience gap is simply too significant to overlook. He also noted that Davis's speed, defense, and timing will likely expose Jake's vulnerabilities within just a few rounds. According to Bradley, the main risk for Davis would be underestimating his opponent. Provided he remains disciplined, Bradley expects a commanding performance. Beyond the predictions and critiques, this matchup signals a broader shift in boxing. The sport is changing, and the boundary between pure competition and entertainment is becoming increasingly blurred. The Davis versus Paul fight embodies this transition, a clash between traditional boxing excellence and the rising influence of celebrity culture.
Contract, yeah. You prove your innocence and say that it ain't fixed. Because check this out. Tank ain't gonna lose this fight. Hell no. Hell no. Tank ain't losing this fight. Too many hoes. Man, Jake don't have enough experience. Yeah, man, this gonna be taking candy from a baby. Jake is missing the rules. See, this what happened when you don't grow up in the game. When you don't grow up in the game, man, at a young age, this is what happens. You know, you start reading your own press clippings. That's what Jake is doing. You know, fighting this lower level competition. And now he think he them ish. Now he think he the man. He ain't the man. You kidding me? He is not the man. Oh no. Yeah. False sense of security. Now he trying to pick on small folks, right? You know, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Yeah, I'm just saying size-wise. Yeah, that's another thing, boxing one-on-one. You can't pay attention to size.
For traditionalists, this fight feels unsettling, while marketers see it as a brilliant move. Regardless of where opinions fall, the event has undeniably achieved something boxing often struggles with: grabbing global attention. Fighters like Davis are learning to navigate this evolving landscape, finding ways to blend genuine skill with entertainment. Whether fans embrace or reject it, this matchup highlights that boxing isn't just hanging on, it's evolving and reinventing itself.
The heart right in that damn dog. It ain't the size of the damn dog, and I told y'all that, man. Yeah, it's the same thing here. And it's about the smartest dog. Tank too smart for him. Tank got too much boxing IQ for Jake, man. This gonna be easy. Easy. Like I said, man, Tank, please. Please, man. Don't do this to boxing, bro. If there's anything, man, shoot. Man, we can put together some kind of like account for you, a GoFundMe account or whatever, bro. And we can, all your fans can give you $1, bro. So that way you don't be blowing this fight. It's easy, bro. This sparring section. You know, look, I'm so confused. I don't know what the hell to call this. A circus? Just call it a circus. Yeah, just call it a damn circus. Because, you know, 1 minute they said, oh, this is the fight.
That wraps up today's video. Thanks for watching, and be sure to stay tuned for what's coming next.